Hey everyone, welcome to the Fiction Unboxed after party, I suppose we're calling this. And there's no real
Wait, do you have a white
structure.
Russian? It's no party if you don't have a white Russian. Awesome.
It's become my
Fantastic.
habit. I think the first time or two I did that just kind of because, and this time, like now it's become I can't. And you can appreciate this.
Now it's
You're a man of rituals, so
oh
now
yeah.
it's like if I record at night, because for those of you who aren't self-publishing podcast stalkers. I don't work past 6 p.m. Eastern. I don't. I stop, and I don't work weekends either. Like, that's family time. And so if I have to do one of these, then uh, I'm sorry. We're
Wait.
both fielding texts from Dave, who is going to be here.
Yeah. Wait, breaking news, breaking
Breaking
news.
news. I
Um
I told.
okay, all right,
Oh, okay.
wait.
I read that one.
So yeah, basically, he's off tonight. So breaking news, Dave will
Dave's
not be
doing
coming.
something really offensive, and we just better not mention it publicly.
Yeah, it's totally thoroughly
It's an
redacted.
arrestable offense.
Yeah, he's got decoy wallets everywhere. There's soggy biscuits on the ground. It's terrible. So
But anyway,
yeah, they won't.
Dave won't be joining us apparently today.
Yeah.
If only Stephanie, our caller from Self Publishing Podcast, could call in, possibly in Dave's stead, that would be fantastic as well. Another breaking text. He seems. I love how loose and you guys, you feel this. You feel this with you out there participating with us, waiting for
This
Dave.
is already the worst
waiting
video
for the
ever.
curtain.
We need
It really is
Dave.
the worst
Our
video ever.
chemistry's
So,
off. We need Dave.
without Dave. So at some point we're going to try and we're going to try and I don't know, get Dave or take questions or comments or whatever so that you can all sort of participate in Yahoo. But the main idea here is that we finished today. Like Fiction Unboxed wrapped today. When I say it wrapped, I mean that the Kickstarter funding period wrapped today, which really is kind of I feel a little odd celebrating that. It was a really cool thing, but at the same time, that's like it feels odd to say celebrate us getting money or something like that.
Oh
Because,
no! It's celebrating that it's over. I'm so happy it's over. I wanted to go get out a cake today, and
but
I
dude, the
haven't.
people in the comments of the Kickstarter were acting like it was the countdown to a rocket. I mean, it was amazing. Like MGon was like, "I have 8 hours left to go. I'm going to."
Yeah, but I get the feeling that
eating chocolate
MGon.
and working out. So he was going to spend 8 hours eating chocolate and working out, which I don't know exactly what to make of that.
I kind of get the feeling that that's a normal routine for him, and that everything is like a countdown to some sort of launch. I think he's just that excited about being alive. But no, I think everybody. It is exciting because now the next part can begin, and that's the really exciting part. Like, we're gonna build our world. We're gonna invite people inside. We're gonna write live, and I think people have been really excited to see that. You know, we can make our Beats video now that we have a little home for it because the site's done. Not that we've been in it all day, but we have a place for it. So
I've been
yeah, if you've
worthless.
oh yeah, me too.
Totally
I
and
can't
completely
even answer
worthless.
emails right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this morning.
it's
Let's just talk over each other. That's awesome.
no, that's
Um,
good. Dave's not here to ignore us too, so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
even worse.
He really isn't. So, but the project we're working on right now is a kids. By the way, I'm just very aware. I went camping this past weekend, and I was like, "Do you see this shit on my face?" Right? I'm like, "Why? I have some sort of weird eczema going on or something." It's poison ivy. Who the fuck gets poison ivy on their face? Well, me apparently. So I'm just very aware that on YouTube I look like this. What I was going to say
Well, if
is,
it makes you feel better, my broadband connection is so terrible. You just look like a blurry face to me anyway.
okay, cool. Yeah, you seem fine. I'm no longer the one with the shittiest internet. The project we're working on right now is a kids the first in a kids series called Connor Quick and the Dead Book Deception, which I still think is a really really cool name. And this is the third book that we've been trying to work on while all of this is going on. We've already bumped at least 2 books.
It's so miserable.
And now I'm like, can I even get this one done? Like, this was easy. This was comfortable. There was extra time. And I told Sean this morning, so for those of you who aren't used to our manic writing pace, this is probably going to seem unimpressive or maybe even piss you off because I'm going to complain about this. But in about 3.5 hours,
Yeah,
I
watch
did
your step,
18.
man.
I know, but I did 1,800 words, and for me, that's really, really, really slow. That's way below what I should have been doing, and it's just because I just it's been exhausting to. It's like it takes up mental space. And I keep feeling like I need to refresh it. I need to check in on it. The clock is ticking. I need to be doing something. Like, isn't there some update we're supposed to be writing? Isn't there some other thing we're supposed to be doing? And it's very relieving to now have that gone and be able to move on and say, well, let's build out the site. Let's look forward to doing the
Yeah, it's just the pressure, it's the rolling boulder of it all that I didn't like. I will never a 30-day period, and it makes sense because that's what all the experts said. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get a lot of external attention, and that external attention, you need that 30 days to build it. But there was so little external attention on this. Most of it really came from you guys. Most of it came from people who were there on day one, and started talking about it on day one. And I feel like we could have gotten most of these results in a much shorter window. And promotional writing, man, it makes some readers tired, but it makes the writers really tired. It's not the easiest stuff to do. Your messaging has to be really, really clear, and it's not fun. It's not fun in the same way that writing Blunderbuss is going to be fun. Like, you guys are all you're
I love how
waiting
you
for
just
June.
tossed out Blunderbuss, by the way. A
Well,
lot of what I do
I've
when
been
I when
using
I
it more and more.
I know
I've been
a
using it
lot of
more
what
and
I
more
do
on
when
purpose.
I go through Sean's copy is I stop and I think. Here's a question that comes to me a lot when I'm going through various stages of Sean's copy. Is anybody going to know what the fuck that means? Like, that's a common thing. And Blunderbuss was one. Like, I totally today I didn't want to see the update. I was like, I'm neck deep in attempting to pretend that I'm working on this, even though I'm not really the other project. And so I said, just send it. I don't want to see it. And I realized you just tossed like, hey, when Blunderbuss is done, we're going to do this or whatever. And I don't know
But
that
see,
people are
I've
going to
been
know what
doing
that.
that. I don't know that you take out all my blunderbusses. I just
No,
assume. All right.
I usually add clarifications. I usually say that's what this is or something like that. Another thing that you do is you'll say just drop names like Lexi does this. Well, not
Yeah,
everybody
but
knows who
but
Lexi is.
right, but not everybody wants a qualifier every time either. Like, if it's like talking to a friend. I feel when I write to one person. I write like I'm talking to a friend, and I don't want to overqualify everything because I wouldn't do that when talking to a friend. I wouldn't be like, my friend Lexi Maxwell, comma, an erotica author, comma. Like, I just wouldn't.
But
I'd be like,
dude,
hey,
when you're
Lexi and I
starting in a
did this.
pod, you haven't mentioned her during the podcast. Whatever. Okay. Moving on. So what do we want to get to here? Without Dave, I'm a little lost in the comments. I'm trying to see if anybody. A lot of congratulations. Bill Dowis says not first. Actually, he says not first, and then he said first at some point slightly before that. So, but he was not.
I would. I'd love to hit as many questions as possible. It, um, but I don't know. I never do this right. Is there like a way I can see? Oh, the Q&A right there, right?
Well, no,
Just
but
that.
we're not doing that. We sent people to YouTube, so it is. We didn't set it up like an Ask Us Anything, and I don't want to. I don't know
Uh,
that we need to spend a ton of time here anyway. This is meant to be mainly
yeah, no,
celebratory.
I just right. I want to say thank you, but if anybody has a question, I want to answer that too.
Well, there's
Just
a
'cause.
Helen Martin. Basically, I'm looking at the length of the comments. So most of them are short, and they're just like, Diane said, "Woo, partay." So like, okay, well, that's a short one, and thank you, Diane. But probably don't need to read that one, although I
Thank
just
you,
did.
Diane.
So here's a beefy one from Helen, and I haven't actually read it, so I don't know whether this is a question or not. But let's just find out all together, shall we? Just dropping
Oh,
by.
see, no, this is the project, living life on the edge. See it
Oh, and
live
by
as it
the way,
happens.
expect a lot of this. I was thinking about this today that some of the people who are going to be seeing this won't have seen this before, and I think that that's a minority. I think that most of the people will have experienced the self-publishing podcast raucous behavior before. But I'm just wondering what some people who aren't used to our method of interacting are going to think.
Well,
Used to me.
that's why that first video is important. I think that first video that's like what to expect, which is a good thing to talk about right now, actually. So we do want to have a day
Do you want me
zero.
to read
Um,
the comment or just
yeah.
no? Okay, just because I started it, I mentioned her name and all that. But okay, so putting a pin in it, what to expect. She said, just stopping by to say a massive well done. So looking forward to the month of June. Sadly, I won't be able to join the party as I will be sound asleep. Okay, so she's asleep, so I don't need to finish that. Some people left these before the party even started because I scheduled it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's actually really cool.
All right, so you can continue now. Then go ahead
Oh, well, I was just
with
saying
what to
that
expect.
yeah, I think we're gonna have that day zero meeting. So day one is it will be a Sunday. June 1st is a Sunday, but next Saturday I think it'd be really cool to have a day zero and just kind of talk about what to expect and kind of frame the project because as we've said a bunch of times, this first couple of days, not now, but June 1st, June 2nd, June 3rd, maybe the 4th, are going to be a little bit chaotic. We're really going to be trying to find our feet, knowing our genre and our story, and kind of getting things in place. And I think the discussion will be really heavy. But I think that there probably are some people who are expecting this to be a little bit linear, like okay, this is how they come up with an idea, and this is what they do next, and it's not really like that. It's going to be really messy at first because normally when we get to a story part, when we're about to start a book, there's always been so Connor, which is the book that Johnny's been talking about and we're writing right now, and that's a children's book. It's been in various versions in my head for 5 6 years, pretty much since I started writing. Um, and because we had to nudge a couple other books, we just started writing that one last week. And the first time Johnny really saw the beats, I talked about it a little here and there. First time Johnny saw the beats was on the plane, I believe, when we were meeting in Denver just a couple weeks ago, and then we
Yeah.
spent a couple days just talking about it and understanding the beats, and then when it's time to write, it's get to business. So there's a lot of marination there. There's a lot of casual conversation. There's a lot of by the way mentions, and so when we're all of a sudden just kind of being thrown into Blunderbuss, our fiction unboxed project, we're going to be writing. We're going to be figuring it out first and then writing. And that first few days of figuring it out, I don't know exactly how that's going to go. I'm really, really excited to see it, but I think that it's important to kind of frame the expectations about what these meetings are going to be like, because there is a lot of rambling. Like that's how we figure things out, is just through talking. But I think that's important to see also, because I think a lot of writers and just a lot of people think that there is some magic alchemy to creativity, and it's not really like that. It's really seeing how things intersect in life and art. You can watch something on TV. I mean, I watch Cindy and Cindy's my wife, and every night we watch something before we go to bed. It's a ritual. It's a bonding thing for us. And whether it's an episode of Friends or Game of Thrones, it's very difficult for my mind not to make connections and not to apply it to other stories that I want to tell with Dave and Johnny. So I think that's the important thing to see, is not that there's any deep well of ideas. It's that the world around you and all of the entertainment and art that you fill your life with. I tend to fill my life with stuff that's a little junkier. Like I like serial TV. Like that's fun for me. So I bring that to the stories I tell with Dave. They have a real cable TV feel. And so anyway, we'll be figuring that out. And I think that first day, that day zero, is a really good time to kind of ask you guys what you want as far as, should we swear? Should we try to stay focused?
I
And
hope so.
yeah,
Because I think that, I mean, obviously the whole point of participation is if we ask you a question, we're going to listen to the answer. Like that would kind of be jerky of us to not. But I think if I could offer a word of how to get the most awesome out of your Fiction Unboxed experience to the participation level, I think it's going to serve everybody best if our process is as close to natural as it would normally be. Now, it is a compressed schedule. Sean has been peeing his pants a lot right lately, like enough that I'm like, Sean, stop peeing everywhere, over the idea of having to come up with a story and then create beats in just a few days. Like that's the sort of thing that normally marinates. And we're going to meet more often for story meetings and stuff. And so it's not going to be 100% the way we would normally work, because normally we would stretch this out and we might write the book in a month or less. but that would just be the first draft, and the planning would occur prior to that, and the post production would occur after that, and we go through several rounds. But that said, within the 30-day window, we want. I think that it's best for everybody if we do this as close to natural as possible. And a large part of, but maybe the primary thing we've pulled out about Realm and Sans brand, which is the imprint that where Sean and I write together, is it's about fun. Like that's the one thing that all of our various genre projects have in common is even if it's a tale as dark as Cursed. Cursed is our darkest tale currently. It just doesn't
But
matter.
what was it originally called?
It was originally called Chupacabra Outlaw, and when we wrote it, we realized how dark it was going to be, and that Gonzo title didn't at all fit, so we called it Cursed. But the point is that.
But the title can tell you where we come from, at least. That it has to be something that we're excited about writing. And Chupacabra Outlaw didn't have a really good idea. The ideas got good. It was just stupid and whimsical enough to make us laugh and get excited about writing it. And that's kind of the point. You need something that excites you, because if you're not excited, writing is going to be a struggle. I've never, ever, 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 in writing millions of words over 6 years, I've never had an easy time writing something I didn't want to. It is hard 100% of the time. Now, sometimes writing is hard with something I am excited about because either I'm busy, I'm not taking care of myself, I have too much on my plate, whatever. But
You're
most
running
of
a
the times,
Kickstarter.
I'm running a Kickstarter. Yeah, don't try to write while running a Kickstarter. It's a terrible idea. In fact, don't try to organize your life or anything with a Kickstarter running. But truly, if you are excited about what you're writing, it will be easier. And so that is a prime ingredient to the projects that we choose, even if it's not a funny book.
Right. So the point I was trying to make there is that we obviously have fun writing our sitcoms, and we laugh really hard. There's some stuff in a Lexi Maxwell collaboration called Adult Video that Sean can't speak through because he's laughing so hard. But that stuff is giddy excitement because it's a hilarious premise. But even when it's something really, very serious, we're still having fun doing it. It may not come out as like excited fun. Sometimes it does though. Like in Namaste is very violent, but the character is really, really likable. Like I modeled his demeanor after what I imagined the Dalai Lama's demeanor to be like, just because he just seems so like I don't know, kind of happy and so. But meanwhile, the guy's like a brutal killer, so it's like if the Dalai Lama snapped or something. And so that's fun. Like that juxtaposition is fun. And in Cursed, I don't think there's any jokes of any sort in that, but
there are no jokes in that. It's dry.
No, the Beam has more jokes than Cursed, and they're just that's dialogue stuff. That's characters
Cursed
being fun.
Is spare. Cursed is spare and dark.
There's tumbleweeds rolling through the book as you're reading it, and but it's fun to create, and we get giddy. And one of the things that happens during story meetings is one of the two of us, usually Sean, will do this thing. Oh, and then we have to like, I know what it is. I know what the thing is. But our story meetings are fun to do, and I imagine they'll be kind of fun to watch. And so what I was, to come full circle on this, is I think that the more natural you want us to be, that you permit us to be, if you vote this way, I think that the better that joy will translate, and the better the overall book will be. But that's up to you guys.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, what I think is probably best here is, okay, here's the parallel. We're pretty obnoxious on the self-publishing podcast, right? But we're still, even within that, we're restrained compared to Better Off Undead, right? Like we know, like better. Yeah, if you haven't watched Better Off Undead yet, don't.
As a matter of fact, Sean's doing you a disservice by mentioning it.
Yeah, there's no reason to watch it. It's terrible, and we're all terrible people. But the point is, there's no fences around that show. Anything goes, and we don't do that on the podcast. And even when we started the podcast, it was a point to where should we swear? Like we actually asked ourselves that, and I can't imagine ever having decided not to, because it would be a totally different show. And one of the things that I love about SPP is that we are totally ourselves. And I think that's probably the tone that we want to find. We don't go out of our on Better Off Undead. We
It's
actually
not
go out of
about
our
being
way.
crude. It's about being authentic to us,
Right,
to who we are.
right, yeah. And I think if we pick an SPP tone, which is exactly the same. Oh my God, you want to hear a this is so awesome.
There it is. There it is. Did you just see it? He just did that thing I was talking about.
Well, this isn't a story idea. This is Dave. Dave's story ideaing us. Yeah. So I think that tone would be great, which is it's it's not over the top crude, but it's funny and it's natural. So hey, Dave.
Did somebody say Better Off Undead?
Oh, the window was hidden. I heard giddy excitement. I didn't even realize Dave had entered the building.
I got back early. I had to go somewhere.
Good thing you were available and made that clear to everybody. So that's good. I have a few YouTube comments that I noticed. I just wanted to mention them here, and then Dave, you can take over because I know your YouTube always
Dave,
frozen
so
for me.
awesome.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we work best as a trinity. It's good to have you, man.
Okay, so Garrett Robinson asks, "Where's Dave?" He's right there. Okay.
He's right there. He's the guy on the left.
I actually went outside with family and had a life today. I know, it's crazy.
I can't wait to hear about you going to
Wow,
church on
yay.
Better Off Undead this week. So Xavier Granville says, "Did you guys put on the final countdown this morning?" Thanks, Xavier. That's going to be in my head forever from the Rocky IV soundtrack.
No, but there's been a couple of suggestions of that. Oh my God, that countdown today was so fun. It was so fun to see the excitement in the comments. And so Johnny texts, "Oh wow, I didn't know they were going to count down in seconds." And they did. They went from minutes to, what was it when there was 2 minutes left? It was just
2 minutes.
Seconds. Yeah, and that was really, really, really fun to watch. So were you sleeping, Dave? Dave was sleeping, wasn't he?
When was that? Oh yeah, during the countdown. Yeah. Well, I was checking the comments, like you said.
Gerald Hornsby asks a question that we've been getting a lot lately. So apparently we didn't communicate
Is it about logins?
Yes, it
It's
may
about
be worthy of a dedicated update tomorrow because we didn't communicate this well enough. Guys, the fictionunboxed.com site has an area where you can log in, obviously. Like, that's the whole point, is it's going to be a site for you guys. You can log in. But you can't do it yet. So people have been going and saying, what's my username and password? I can't log in. We've gotten a lot of emails like that. And I get it because there's the login right there, and we've mentioned it, but we haven't created them yet. So you don't have a login yet. There's nothing to see, so there would be no point to log in. We're waiting. Kickstarter has to give us some information before we can go ahead and do that. So just hang tight. You can't log in. We'll let you know. We'll email you.
Finnegan. Wade Finnegan left a comment. Shameless plug. Self-publishing roundtable live at 9. Usually I'm on that. I won't be tonight. Originally I wasn't planning to be home yet, but now that I am home, I have to catch up though. Assuming this is over at 9. I doubt that.
Yeah, I certainly hope it's over at 9.
Yeah, no, we
really comprehensive Q&A.
Yeah, this isn't long. This is really like we wanted to say thank you, and we're excited, and man, it would be awesome if June was here now. But I'm really, really glad that the site is along and that we have a place to put stuff and have conversation and all of that. And yeah, so as Johnny was saying, we don't have logins yet, and honestly, I'm not 100% sure of the process even. I know that at some point Kickstarter will kind of close things out and send us surveys that we will then send out to backers, and they'll answer questions, and I guess we then fulfill based on level. So I've never done any of this before, so we'll figure it out. But as soon as we have that, we have the site all set up so that everyone can get a login, and we'll get the forums live, and conversation can pick right up.
If you're not used to the self-publishing podcast, we learn stuff as we go. We're very ready, fire, aim. And so, for instance, this morning, just a small thing, like we learned, just a little heads up, if you guys ever do a Kickstarter, you can't edit your project once it ends. And that was really obnoxious because we wanted to. Not that you guys care a whole lot about this probably, but the self-publishing podcast people may care since we talk marketing and stuff. We wanted to kind of, that's a permanent poster. Like people go see that and they're like, Fiction Unboxed. Like we wanted to send that. Hey, hey guys, here's where you can find more about us. We wanted to change the profile image so it didn't say last day anymore. And you can't,
most
can't
of the
change
success of this. Yeah, most of the success of this campaign actually isn't about the last 30 days. It's about the years afterwards. It was at the time of this campaign. Right now, it's the third. Is that right? The third most successful fiction campaign on Earth of all time. So when people are looking up, it is there. It's a permanent billboard for this experience, and it would be really cool to have a different image up there. But we didn't know. We didn't know you couldn't edit it. So that's a great learning thing.
I was sitting there ready to edit it. I was ready to go, and I said, "Now wait, it's cool. I'll just do it when I'm done." Son of a bitch.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that's good. It's actually great that we do go fast and we do make mistakes, because we always tell you about them. So you're gonna see that for sure in the next month. We will make some mistakes. We'll have to write ourselves out of a corner, or we'll think the story's about one thing and it's gonna be about something else. We may make mistakes on the cover or on anything. But what's really cool is when we make mistakes, we usually pivot and we find a better way to do something, and you'll get to see it live. And it is it's exciting for us. Like I would love to watch this type of thing just because that's how I learn best, is by watching other people and seeing us both, because there will be a couple of things where you guys are going to know ahead of time that we're screwing up. Right? No, don't do that. And we're probably going to ignore your emails on that because there's going to be a lot of them. We're used to people trying to save us from ourselves. But it'll be really exciting to watch us make a mistake and figure it out. It is part of our process.
Garrett says, thank God Dave is here because now they'll pay attention to the comments. Garrett, did you not hear when I said that Bill Dowis said first and not first?
Is that the last comment you got? Jesus.
No,
I think so.
I've been handling him because Garrett, I was actually just not. See, now I feel like I don't want to say it. I was just about to read one of Garrett's. He was just voting. Do not censor yourself.
Punish Garrett. Don't read his stuff. Punish him.
Amy,
he's been no help on this Kickstarter. None. He hasn't made our videos or anything.
Amy T. Schubert asks or suggests idea. I would love a tiny little bio for each of the participants so we know a little about where everyone's coming from as they offer ideas, objections, etc. Full disclosure,
That's a great idea.
Diana,
that's a great idea.
Diana Trujillo.
So wait. Hold on. Let me follow up on that question. So Amy, does that mean just like on the bottom third of our screen?
I think
just
she means she wants.
Who we are?
I think she wants just a few sentences about who we are. And by the way, Amy, if you are new to SPP, as judged by not having an obsessive compendium of knowledge about us, you're about to learn what a short little bio means when it comes from Sean. Go ahead.
No. She means. I think she means participants in Fiction Unboxed.
Bro. I thought it was from us.
Oh
no!
I said I
am a participant. Are you not listening? God damn!
Well, no, I heard she's a participant.
No, I heard.
That's not what she said. No, she said I am a participant does not relate to what I want.
Yeah, no, okay, wait. Yes,
all right, hold on.
That's a great idea. That's capital.
Amy T. Schubert says, idea.
Really.
I would love a tiny little bio for each of the participants so we know a little about where everyone is coming from as they offer ideas, objections, etc. Full disclosure, I am a participant. Since she's not on this podcast right here, I'm guessing she's not Fiction Unboxed, fuckers.
Participant, by the way, we shouldn't have labeled a backer level participant because when I talk about clarifying things that Sean writes, that was one where I did a lot. Participant level backers. Because I want to call people who are involved in the project participants. People who participate in Fiction Unboxed. But no, because participant has a special meaning. And so I thought she meant we were the participants.
Yes, I did too. I did too. And first of all, that's a fair mistake. Second of all, Dave, you
No.
don't realize that we have been getting progressively stupider over the last 10 days of this campaign.
Oh, I
Right? You
realize.
have to allow
I don't
us.
wanna say anything.
No, you have to allow us some mistakes. I'm not getting some very simple things right now.
Good thing I'm here.
But no, I totally. I actually love that idea. I think that's a great idea.
We could
Any
have like
objections from-
introduce yourself, so we encourage that in the participant forum maybe.
Yeah, maybe even a page, like we have an about page, maybe an about page about the participants, because the participants really are helping to shape a lot of this stuff. So a bio.
And by the way, as participants, your votes are really they're heavy, like they're important. So I hope
Yeah,
that
right.
if you are a participant, I hope you participate because there's only about 40 of you. So I think that there were 36, 37 official participant level backers, but remember the way Kickstarter works is it stacks upward. So people who were the summit attendees or those people are participants too. So there's maybe 40 people, and that's not a lot. And given the way that in a participant situation,
No,
the way
it's
that
not.
usually works is most people don't actually participate; they just watch. So please do.
Yeah, well, it's usually like 10%. It's usually 10% in any kind of situation like this. However, it seems like you guys are super engaged, and that's that's important.
You should have named one of the participation levels Pikers.
Are we really bringing
No,
that
they
in
would-
here?
they could just
Are you
sit
really?
watch it.
No, this isn't Better Off and Dead. Don't
On to
soil
a
this
question. Diana Trujillo
dogging and piking.
McLaughlin. Diana asks, to any or all of you, do you think you'll ever do a project like this again where fans, readers can contribute and or participate in your work?
Not
Just gotta wait to see after how the first one goes.
Yeah, forever is a really long time. I'm inclined to say yes, absolutely, but I can't imagine it being on Kickstarter. I think that I love the idea of doing something like this. I love the idea of this project. I think it's really, really awesome. I'm not thrilled with some of the specific Kickstarter things, but then again, I think if we were going to do this campaign tomorrow, we would all run it different because we're smarter guys, despite being stupider this last specific week. Overall, I think we're smarter than we were a couple months ago.
In defense of
And so,
Kickstarter, we got some really cool backers who didn't know us before, so that's awesome.
Right. No, that is true. That is true.
Well,
we
okay,
did
the
get,
reason the reason we did on Kickstarter was to see if there was actually an audience before we went and did this, and it is a way of finding out, do people actually want this? Now that we know they do want it, we don't have to go to Kickstarter if we do something like this again.
Yes, that's true. And one thing that I really, really love about this too was that I was confident. I was confident that the idea was good enough that there would be a lot of people into it. But I underestimated one thing and overestimated another. I overestimated how much other people would like the idea. Just the general public. I thought media would pick up on it. I thought that there would be more enthusiasm about the idea from a broader range of people. But what I underestimated was how much the people who already know us would be into it. Like the people who were into it were really into it, and that's exciting because as we go forward, this is a really, really exciting project. We've got a large group of people who are going to either watch or actively participate in doing something that's never been done. And as a creator, that is really an exciting place to be. And I just want it to be June 1st right now because I'm like, these are my favorite people to talk story to, and we're going to talk story in a way that we've never quite talked story before, both as a threesome. We've never done that before, and we're going to be doing it in front of you guys, and that's just really exciting. So again, which is what this is about. Thank you so much for helping us to facilitate this and helping us to make this happen. And this is going to be an amazing thing. And I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm just so excited to see it, and I'm really thrilled that we can do it, and I'm really grateful for you for making it happen.
I'm excited to have this threesome in front of a bunch of people watching.
Yeah. How many White Russians
you and
have
your sex biscuit?
Just the one.
He likes to double fist those. Actually, he orders them 2 at a time. True story.
Yes.
We've had quite a few people say they are looking forward to participating. So that's awesome.
That is great.
So do you guys get like none of these questions? Should I like go back early?
Well,
We got
you can
Howard's.
if you want to go ahead and sort. We got a handful of them. I mean, I kept chronologically for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just say really quickly while you're picking up other things. I don't want to turn this into like a Kickstarter discussion, but I do just want to say, just to reinforce some of what Sean just said. I've said this several times to my wife recently, so you guys know the 80-20 rule. To me, this felt like the 95-5 rule, and I think that we could have done. I think that if we had just spoken to our existing tribe, like you guys really, really, really carried the ball on this. So Sean said he overestimated the allure that the idea would have in the wider world, and it had very little, comparatively speaking. And it was the SPP tribe that really stepped up and said they were excited about this and they wanted to see it, and they told the world. And I feel like we could have done a lot less stuff because you guys helped us so much. You guys were really there to make this work. Right, exactly, like the thunderclap. The thunderclap was not necessary. We asked a lot of people to do stuff, and we kind of got eye rolls. And
Thundercrap. Yeah.
even from people who love us, and they're just like, I released somebody of a burden a few days ago, and I said, no, it's cool, man. It's cool. I know you're trying to be polite. I know you don't want to do it, so just let it go.
Let it go, let it go. Oh.
Yeah, that movie is making kids gay. Dave, did you know that?
Those people are.
I read that article.
Do you remember that? Did you send that thing around where some guy was? Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, the whole anti. All right.
Yes.
Mike Underwood asks, hi folks, congrats on the Kickstarter. I'm a new listener, circa episode 98. Here via Write, Publish, Repeat. I've had recent success fast drafting a novel, so I'm very interested in seeing you folks design, plan, and write at an even faster speed. What, if any, books, movies, games, etc. have you been consuming during the Kickstarter to stay sane? I think they've been consuming lots of drugs, no actual entertainment.
Yeah. Vast amounts of cocaine. That's totally. Yeah, that's not
You
true. I've
seem
never
like a
done
guy that would do coke.
Like
nose
I
for it.
need to be amped up? Are you kidding me?
I can't imagine.
God. No, cocaine is a nightmare. I can't imagine.
Johnny doesn't want to ruin the temple that is his abs.
I love that. That's what I made fun of for. So Dave made these fantastic little sketches today for use in a video that Garrett's going to work on later, and they're so fantastic. Like Dave's prompt, features hating you all and being a little fat. Sean's features a giant nose. And mine features abs. I just love it. And my T-shirt, which says something like "Insert clever slogan here." Wow, they're so wonderful.
Yeah, they're pretty boss.
What was the? Was there an actual? There was an actual question there. I forget.
I don't know.
that.
I had a brain fart.
What books, movies,
Yeah, what was
games
it?
have you been consuming during Kickstarter?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, the last thing I read was last night, and it was while I was at a baseball game, and it was exciting. It was riveting.
For more on Sean's
don't
baseball
start.
games, don't go look at Better Off Undead.
I'm about to blow your mind. It was a book on SEO structure. Yep, that's right. That's what I read in my spare time.
Wow,
Because-
in front of children even. Wow.
Yeah, it was terrible. But I don't know, what can I say, you guys? I have a lot of work to do these days, and I want to do it right. I want to know what I'm doing because I want to build things correctly. And Fiction Unboxed is a brand new site. I want to make sure that that everything is the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, it was a book on SEO structure. Wow. Nothing to stay sane. Oh wait, no, I take that back. I watched House of Cards. I saw the whole second season during Fiction Unboxed, and it's been awesome.
I was reading The Great and Secret Show, but I paused because what I'm writing right now, we're considering our sci-fi Harry Potter, so I actually started reading a little bit more Harry Potter for inspiration.
I'm disappointed.
Well, no, I'm going to go back to it.
Well, no, I'm going to go back
Barker
to.
and trying to write kid stuff is
Clive Barker has
cognitively
kids books.
odd. Yes, but it
does
is
he
not
really?
The Great and
Under his
Secret
name?
Show.
Aberrat. Yeah.
Oh well, I started the Great and Secret Show. I got about oh wow, that's cool. I got about, I'd say, 250 pages in is how deep I am, and then we went to Denver, and I haven't
That's
picked it
like
up since
chapter
I've been
one.
back. Yeah, it's
That's the equivalent of
it's
the wedding scene.
yeah. It's probably a
Uh,
third of the way into it, but I stopped when we went to Denver. I haven't picked it up since. I've only read business stuff.
No,
uh,
I haven't been consuming anything in particular. I've just been very, very tired. Been trying to have a lot of sex, that sort of thing.
what? Okay. Question here. Werner Meyer
It's not working out
asks,
for you.
Working well.
totally jazzed to get started. So, Blunderbuss, is this a name given to this as a project, or is it the name of a book you're going to develop? That said, does that mean you already have a story idea in mind, or are you taking ideas from participants?
That's why I'm
Um,
hesitant on you using the term blunderbuss, because it implies that you already have something in mind. He's using that like we
It's a
don't know what to
project
call it, so
name.
we're calling it blunderbuss.
yeah, I've called it Blunderbuss for 2 months. So
All of our books have names other than what they are, unless they have an actual name.
Sean has
yeah,
been
because I
using
don't want to keep
blunderbuss to
saying.
describe this project before Dave and I knew what that meant. So we'd see blunderbuss appear on the editorial account and be like, "What the fuck are you
I thought we were
talking
doing
about?"
a Dead Red Redemption fanfic thing. I was all for that.
That'd be awesome. I bet Dave would write a kick-ass fanfic, actually. Um,
I did
yeah.
a Lego
So
one for my son.
did you really?
Yeah, this is part of my church story, but we were sitting in church and he asked me to write something, so I wrote like a Lego story, and I left it with a cliffhanger, and he hands the book back to me. He's like, "Finish it."
Oh, that's boss. Train him young. That's great.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been blunderbuss forever. I just like the word, and we needed a word. But no, there is a world I would like to build in, but it kind of has to be, ratified both by you guys and by Dave and Johnny, who haven't heard it yet. They don't know what the world is. They just know that I'm very antsy to tell them about it. And it's more of a large world that we can kind of hang a story on. Even if we go ahead with this world, what we write inside could be anything. It could be romance or action,
Yeah, it's up to
thriller,
this is up
horror.
to you guys.
Yeah.
Actually, I was telling
So
the
it
story of.
could be.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. You.
I got another question.
Oh, get another white Russian.
No, it's just it's empty.
Wait,
I was I'm actually speaking at the one of my high school friends, her daughter's school next Thursday, I think, and I was talking to her about a lot of the stuff that Fiction Unboxed is about, really, like about is storytelling that mystical, or is it sort of the thing that we all kind of know how to do if we just kind of get out of our own way? Yes, the practice of writing takes practice and putting in the hours, but the art of telling a story is simpler than a lot of people think. And then I told the story of Caveman Time Cop. So if you're not a SPP regular, this isn't like our grandest like Pulitzer Prize winning fiction or anything, but it's a good example of the sort of thing that we're going to do during Unboxed. Where, if you don't know this story, we emailed our mailing list and said, we want to create a short story for you guys. Give us a concept. Give us like 2 words that don't mean anything, that like dinosaur romance was the one we tossed out. We just put 2 words together. And
I still
people
want to
just
write dinosaur romance, by the way.
dinosaur romance can be hot. So people just emailed us just like random things, and then we collected them, and then emailed them back to people and say, okay, here's what people let us know last week, and what do you think of these? And they voted, and Blaine Moore had suggested Caveman Time Cop. Now that's all there was. There was we didn't know anything other than those 2 words. We didn't know, there was no story concept, there were no characters, it was just with no genre, it was just Caveman Time Cop. That's the entirety of what we knew. And so we had to deconstruct that idea and say, well, is he a caveman who became a time cop? He's a time cop who went back to caveman times. And then we had to form a story around the world. And I really like the story that came out of it. It's just a fun little short story. It's like 5,000 words. But I was telling my friend about that, and she really liked that because, like, we could do an exercise with the kids where they might want to kind of take a story idea and play with it like clay and say, well, what could you make out of this? What could you go in this direction or that? And that's a lot of what we're going to do with Fiction Unboxed is the idea of improv writing and the idea of something we mentioned in Write, Publish, Repeat, which is we don't believe that there are a bunch of great story ideas out there. We believe that you can take any idea and make it great. So I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, last year I did, or I guess it had to be the year before last. Cindy and I did a writing workshop at our children's school, and it was really cool. The idea was to kind of write a story with a group, and I had this one group of children, and she took the slightly younger kids, and I took the older kids. So she had Ethan, and I had Haley, and I had a group of Haley and her friends, and we just like brainstormed ideas, and the idea was that they were going to write this long short story over, I think it was an 8-week period, and that didn't happen. But all of their ideas ended up being used for a book that we wrote under the Guy Incognito name called World War OMG, and they came up with that title, World War OMG, which I think is a fantastic kids book title. I just love it, World War OMG. Like that's very modern. My daughter loved it, and all of the ideas in that book, for the most part, were assembled by children.
You're
and
stealing
then I took
children's ideas now? Jesus.
Totally, yeah. I ape everything I can. So I took all these random ideas that came from the table. I threw some of them away, and I took the ones that I thought worked well together, and I put story structure behind it, and I gave it to a writer named Rachel McNaught, and she turned it into a very solid little book. And we gave it to our editor, and he said it was just one of his favorite children's stories he's ever read, that he really, really loved it. He would give it to his nephew, on and on and on. He said very kind things about this particular story. And I think what resonated with him were that the ideas were real. They came from children. So it's children writing for children, but with two adults in this instance helping them to shape those ideas into something. And that's a good lesson too, because these are children. These are not writers. They're just children with imagination, and it's about what you do with those raw materials. And I'm so excited to see what raw materials we're going to have, because at this point it's just a lot of question marks. And that first few days, as nerve-wracking as it may be, it's just going to be so exciting, and I'm really excited to get there.
We have a very important...
I was just say I have maybe 10 minutes tops. So
okay, well then we have a breaking important question. Michelle Osborne asks, "What is Dave's favorite Clive Barker book?" Thank you. That is a Magica, followed by The Great and Secret Show. Thomas.
I will read both of those this year.
Thomas Bennett asks, "Any idea when the Scrivener Beats video series will be done?" Guys. Is it?
That's Sean's thing. By the way, the cool thing about the Scrivener Beats video series is that it will be incorporated into the Learn Scrivener Fast product, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Well, there's two things here, and actually one of them we could talk out live right now. The first part is I can't get to those until I'm totally done with the Unboxed site. I can only do that's more of like a development part of my brain, and when I can't really build a site and do those videos. It's kind of the same time of day that I would work. It's the same part of my workflow. So once the site is totally done, I can move on to that. So hopefully I could get to those this week. Now, however, there is another hiccup on going through these beats, and I don't know if it matters or not. I guess I kind of have to ask Johnny. But the beats that I'm using, there are most evolved beats, I would say, word for word, and it's for a story that we were supposed to write immediately before Blunderbuss, and its working title is Axis. And the problem is Fiction Unboxed just kind of punched us in the ear in a couple of ways that we weren't expecting, and so we ended up nudging projects, and Axis is a project that got nudged in favor of Connor, which seemed like it'd be easier to get our head around, because Axis just ended up, because of the beats actually, ended up bigger and thicker and longer, and it was something that Johnny wanted to sink into.
I didn't want to rush.
A little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the children's book just seemed a little more straightforward, and not really something that you can lose yourself in the same way. And so I asked myself now, when we first decided to do these Beats videos, it was because the book was already going to be finished, And now I don't know. I don't know if
You
it
don't want to
makes more.
spoil the book for potential readers?
Not even that, but for potential writers, you know, I don't want to explore those ideas out loud too much before Johnny writes it. So I don't know. I'm a little bit conflicted about that. I know people would really like to see them, but I'm thinking maybe it doesn't matter as much because we're going to be doing it live with Blunderbuss anyway.
Yeah, I
And
assume that's what the Beats video is going to be. It's going to be the book that you're actually doing, and it will be done at the end of the project. That's what I assume.
Well, it is the
well,
book we're doing, but it isn't this one. We're not going to be able to create such robust beats for this. That's the thing. Like the Axis beats are a work of art.
The reason I don't want to do
Sean,
Blunderbuss
the way that I would handle that is, I mean, I don't know if all you guys feel the same way, but there's a lot of stuff in Fiction Unboxed. I was looking through the rewards, and I was realizing that, like at the $49 level, I was like, oh, so there's apparently a Fiction Unboxed thing in here too. Like, isn't that kind of neat? Like, look, somebody shoehorned in a Fiction Unboxed thing because there's so much other stuff. I mean, at 89, there's like the Learn Scrivener Fast program. There's the Beats video series. There's Scrivener. There's Fiction Unboxed. Like, it's enough that it's like, oh, Fiction Unboxed is kind of this own. It's almost an afterthought. And so, I guess what I'm saying is, there's a ton of content that we are delivering pretty quick, like almost right away. And so, I would say, wait until the Unboxed experience is done so that you can give all of your attention to that, because I think you owe it to everybody that's in this to not be distracted and to focus on Fiction Unboxed. And I would say end of July to deliver those.
Yeah, and I like that. I just don't want anyone to be disappointed. And I know a lot of people were really anxious and looking specifically forward to those. And we could do it with Blunderbuss, you know, and make those Beats videos.
As good.
But yeah, I'm really hesitant to do that because I know the Axis Beats took like a month, and the Blunderbuss ones are going to take a few days, and that's a really big difference in quality. And I don't really, if we're going to make dedicated Beats videos, I really want to do it right, and not just that, not just spoiling it for you, but the fact that if I, as originally designed, am doing these Beats videos after you write the story, then my perspective on the beats are going to be a lot different, and we can have correlations and intersections and before and afters, and I think that that's really important and instructive too.
Yes.
So I think it's best to wait.
I'm going to make an argument, and if you guys feel strongly in opposition to this, if you feel that I'm totally off base and I'm being an asshole, then let us know. But I really, really, really strongly suggest let's get through Unboxed. Let's give all the attention to Unboxed. Let's give the Beats video series the attention it's due. I know that people are excited about it, but there's going to be a lot to be excited about during Unboxed. And if you're going to do those series and they're going to be part of Learn Scrivener Fast and people are going to get the most out of them, you got to use the most robust Beats, which means Axis. You got to let Axis get further along so that you can provide the insight and the 30,000 foot view that comes from having read some of the developed manuscript. And so to me that means you just got to wait. I mean, most Kickstarters don't deliver this fast, and we're going to be giving people so much information up front. It can wait. If you really strongly disagree, let us know.
No, I agree with all of that. I just, my tendency, like I want to make sure everybody has what they expect. But I also think that the equivalent here is allowing us to swear. Or not choosing romance or type mystery as a genre. It's you got to know who we are if you want the best product, right? If you want the best experience and you really want this to be everything that you hope it can be, you kind of want to lean into what you know about us. And the same is true with the beats. Yes, you could. I could do them. I could do them next week, but I don't know that. In fact, I could say I'm confident that's not the best thing to do. So it's about what do you want long term as a better experience, and these Beats videos will be around forever.
They're going to be better if he waits, guys. So
yeah.
Trust me on this, please. And if you feel strongly otherwise, then let us know.
I agree.
I don't really. I mean, I could probably take one more small question, but then I got to bail.
Greg Dussault asks, I'm considering taking you guys on with the Story World option and writing something along with everyone else. I'm curious now that all backers are locked in if there's a way to find out how many people are considering joining writing in the Story World and developing some kind of group, advertising our website or something to show how big of a world it is going to be. that might be a different way to spin this out to larger media world in talking about this great big collective thing that's being built. Curious on your guys' thoughts on this. I think that's something, we'd kind of think about as we're going.
You
Yeah,
guys
it's
can
so
talk
hard
about that
to
in the
know until we
forum,
see how
if you
big it
remember.
is. Yeah, until we know. I think the first question we want to answer is what's the world that we're building in, because that's what's most on my mind. Because we want to start putting those elements into place. Like because there's two things that have to happen here. First, we have to have the world. Then we have the story, right? But I think the most important part is to come up with the overall. This is where this story is going to take place. And I think coming up with a story within the world will be, a relatively straightforward thing. The three of us are going to get to talking. The participants will be giving us their feedback, and we'll roll from there. But deciding on the world is kind of elemental to all of this. And once we know that, I think we can see how big it can go. And again, if the guys like the ideas that are kind of brewing already, I think I have a very specific thing that Dave can do that he'll love. But once we start batting those ideas back and forth, we'll have a better idea. I think right now we're just guessing.
I don't know if you already answered this,
yeah.
but is there going to be a way for people that opted in at a lower level to upgrade once if they decide, hey,
Yes,
I do want to do this?
I have an
Okay,
updated
because
answer.
I thought we had decided against that. So you're saying yes?
No. Well, no, we need to talk about this, but I know how it is simple. It is simple to do. So the platform that we built our site on is called Rainmaker, and it's very robust. It's very cool. One of the things that I've been doing lately is learning how to build on it. Because it wasn't on our radar, actually. We had built the original Fiction Unboxed site, was just a simple site with a membership plugin. But we wanted something better. We wanted something more long term. And this is a great platform. And Johnny and I have long relationship with Copyblogger, and we really respect what they do. And so we wanted to try it out. But one of the things that it does is it allows us to issue coupon codes. So we could do something like that, and Chris Garrett told me how to do it, Johnny. So we actually can. It's just a matter of making it simple, and we don't want it to be really heavy. There's I think 972. Is that right? Backers.
976 actually.
976. So we don't we need for the next month to focus on this story and getting this done, and we don't want to have a lot of admin stuff. So if we can figure out a way to make that really simple and click easy, then we will absolutely try to implement that, because we want people to be happy. We want people to have what they want, but it's not going to be that easy to figure it out. Everybody's at different levels, so we have to have that conversation.
So upgrading to participation from 49 is different from 89. There's a lot of moving pieces there.
Yes, and part of what made these what gave these reward levels their value is is all the rewards, right? And we don't want to deal with rewards anymore. Rewards was a specific Kickstarter thing. That was the bonus that you guys got for being there from the very beginning. It was the extras for believing in us and this project, and we don't want to carry those over to after the fact Unboxed. So we have to figure that out, because we want everyone to be happy, and so it's important to navigate that.
We'll figure it out, and we'll put it in future updates. I mean, there will. I actually think this is live right now. If you wanted, like, if you had a neighbor who's like, oh, I missed out on the Unboxed thing, like, you can still get in on that. You just can't get the rewards and stuff. Like, it's not as good of a deal. But yeah, I guess we're going to talk about that, and we'll figure out what we can do in terms of participation and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, our bottom line is we want everyone to be happy, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll draw to a close then, right? Because my glass is empty.
Oh.
Yeah, Dave. If there are more questions, I'll stay on for whatever. Are there other questions?
Hold on, I went off of there. Go back.
I'm going to see if there are other questions, and of course, if there are, I'll leave. But I want to know if I can do it cleanly. Guys, I'm so not that I want anyone to like feel bad for me or whatever, but man, I am so tired. Like I just
Yeah.
at some point here.
We do have just some comments. Didn't expect beats until after the story project was done. Michelle Osborne said. Quotidian Light says,
thanks, Michelle.
We're excited, but you can't kill yourself. Just wait until after Unboxed and then do the beats. John Dark says quality is better than speed. Focus on FU first.
Is that a backhanded compliment?
Dave always focuses on FU first.
Thomas Bennett said, but we need an explanation of the 500-word summary. Not sure what that is.
That is the
just part of the
participation level backer reward, guys. Just in the interest of being able to give you time to actually do the project and do it justice, I don't think we're going to be able to vet summaries before the end of the actual fiction.
No.
Period for June.
I think he meant in the Axis beats in that original video. There's that part with the 500-word summary. I think that's probably what he was referring to.
Okay,
but we can talk about that. Beats even.
Yeah, we can talk about that. And the other thing too to keep in mind is that I don't know if he's part of participation, but that's part of this is that we're going to do a lot of Q&A with participant level back. That's one of the things you guys, it's one of your rewards. One of the things you got in for. So.
Yeah.
Warner Meyer says, I've been a big fan of SPP since episode 1 and haven't missed one yet. Wow. I just wanted to give
thank you.
a big congratulatory shout out of the success of Kickstarter. I've been learning a lot from you guys over the past couple of years and see Fiction Unboxed as a pinnacle of that education. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Diana asks, will you have any of the bonuses such as Scrivener Beats video available for purchase at some point?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Probably.
The things that we're involved in that we've made, not the other stuff. Like you can't buy Scrivener.
Yeah, we can't give a Scrivener or Learn Scrivener Fast. The Beats videos will be a part of Learn Scrivener Fast.
So if you're already a member of that site, you'll get that.
Yeah, you'll get it. You'll get it anyway.
At some level, I don't know.
But yes, Will, I actually am having a ton of ideas right now about this type of stuff and how we organize it and how we make it great for our audience. But they're not crystallized yet, and they're kind of like they just have to go in the oven because the 4 burners up top are all busy right now. So
yeah, that's how Dave and I usually feel when working with Sean.
Right. So
no more ideas.
No, I'm actively not telling them things right now. I feel like I'm hiding things. It's terrible.
He's like a bingo hopper where the door is broken. Flying out. I worked at B-17 again, motherfucker.
I worked at Pizza Hut for a few months, and there were situations where the pizzas would just be rolling off, and nobody was there to like catch them. It was just craziness.
Be honest. How much of that pizza did you eat?
Oh, after working there, I did not want to eat any pizza. I was sick of it within a week. That
actually makes total sense.
So much. I would have liked it more if people that actually had the job took it seriously rather than didn't take it seriously. Like
I can't believe that people at a minimum wage pizza job weren't taking it seriously.
Well, I did, and I had 2 jobs then, and I took it seriously. So if you can't do your job right, don't show up.
I can see a lull, Dave, like lolcats, where it's pizza is serious business.
Pizza is serious business. Someone has to care.
It is. I do have to go, guys. So if there's more, I'm gonna bail, but I don't know.
All right, Dave, are there more questions or comments?
No, I don't.
I can stay if so. If not,
I don't see any more. You can always come back to YouTube and answer them.
All right. Well, guys, remember that we are going to do a day 0 video in maybe a week or so, and we'll set expectations at that point. We'll give you. I'm sure we'll have a few Kickstarter updates in the meantime. So it's not like we're going dark. And thank you for joining us for this after party. This was fun. We just kind of wanted to celebrate with everybody because, man.
We love you guys. Basically. This is so awesome. Like we're so.
And I feel like a lot of you drink too because you guys were stressing out too. Like. Oh my God!
The ownership that you guys took, the ownership that you guys took of this whole campaign is really, really cool, and we'll remember this forever, you guys. So thank you for giving this to us. the next month is going to be amazing. Actually, psych, the next month and a week is going to be.
Yeah.
The next week is going to suck, and then the next month after that will be amazing. So we'll see you then.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Adios.